arrested me? Yep. For assault.
Arrested him falsely. The trumped-up charges were tossed. At that time, less than 6 years on the force, Officer Hunt ranked in the top 1% of officers when it came to use of force complaints when compared with years of service. The CBS 2 investigators tallied fully 24 misconduct complaints against Hunt logged by COPA, the most recent 4 weeks ago. All other sworn members of CPD mentioned in this report remain full-duty status, reporting for work, including Captain Joseph Brennan. Remember, at the scene where 17-year-old Michael Elam Jr. was shot fatally in the back by an officer, remember Captain Brennan's body camera order? On Wednesday,
Joe Brennan.
a major promotion.
He now becomes commander of the 24th District.
Captain Brennan became Commander Brennan. CPD's discipline process is under the microscope. So is COPA's review process. So is a union's defense of sometimes the seemingly defenseless. Mayor Lori Lightfoot has made it a mission to get rid of bad cops, even calling for the firing of one who simply flipped off protesters. That had us wondering about other officers. We start with James Hunt. You may remember him. Do you remember the day?
July the 3rd, 2018.
You say you trying to shoot?
I killed.
And to this day, that officer is on full duty status.
I pray for the young black men. I pray for him. Because he's a bad, bad cop.
2 full years ago, Officer James Hunt went viral when he told Kenneth Lee,
I killed.
and despite a 1-year recommended suspension by the Civilian Office of Police Accountability, or COPA, here he is, reporting for duty, still full duty status at CPD. Right here.
Yes, correct.
On that day in 2018, Kenneth Lee, who eventually won a $100,000 settlement from the city, 6 figures funded by taxpayers for what started.
I see he accelerated, so I asked him, I get to the grass, I said, "What, you trying to hit me?" And he replied,
I killed.
It happened at the city's Martin Luther King Jr. Park. Officer Hunt followed Lee into the park, baiting him.
That's when he said, "I have a Snapchat too." I said, "No, you don't." He said,
Yeah, dude, it's called a mama.
he said, "It's called your mom."
This is Kenneth Lee's mother.
He wanted him to react from it.
I already said it, retard. All right, stop talking to me now. Nope.
Officer Hunt eventually mocked.
Yeah. Little G doing.
Lee's friend, Little G, had been murdered. Lee then bit back about the murder of CPD Commander Paul Bauer.
How did officer that got killed go? Which one? The one that got shot. I just think you said we could die. So you arrested me? Yep. For assault.
Arrested him falsely. The trumped-up charges were tossed. At that time, less than 6 years on the force, Officer Hunt ranked in the top 1% of officers when it came to use of force complaints when compared with years of service. The CBS 2 investigators tallied fully 24 misconduct complaints against Hunt logged by COPA, the most recent 4 weeks ago.
Chicago police shoot and kill a man suspected in a shooting in the East Chatham neighborhood.
We learned when Hunt was still a CPD rookie back in 2014. He killed 17-year-old Deshaun Pittman. He said Pittman pointed a gun at him after killing another man.
Oh, my God.
Pittman's grandmother.
Who shoots a human being like this?
IPRA concluded P.O. Hunt's use of deadly force was reasonable.
Did they ever say which bullet actually killed him?
As initially were all but one of the hundreds of CPD officer-involved shootings investigated by IPRA between 2007 and 2014.
Did he feel all of them?
Again, here's Officer Hunt reporting for duty, working Area South gangs.
With absolutely no repercussions.
Attorney Jeff Neslin represented Kenneth Lee. He represented the family of Laquan McDonald, shot 16 times, murdered by now imprisoned former officer Jason Van Dyke. He's also filed a new lawsuit against CPD officer Wilfredo Ortiz, who in 2014 once shot 3 siblings. That incident cost the city nearly $8 million, yet the shooting was deemed justified. The U.S. Department of Justice used that as an example of what's wrong with CPD. Ortiz, still a cop.
He was never punished. He was never reprimanded. He's still out on the street. And we just filed a new excessive force case against him.
With video. Nesland says here's Ortiz tackling the plaintiff in that new case. Nesland,
as a mother,
now also represents Alice Martin. This, her first ever interview.
as a mom, it's like there's a bit of hatred there.
February 2019. Her son, 17-year-old Michael Elam Jr., was a passenger in a car on a way to a Valentine's dinner with his girlfriend.
Are you guys okay? Cops are okay.
This young man was shot twice in the back, once in the back of the head, and the officers never requested an ambulance.
The legal team obtained video of the aftermath.
You got an ambulance for me? A negative.
It took more than 4 minutes to order an ambulance. Elam was still alive. Finally,
Squad, I need an ambulance. Hey, you didn't tell us that. We'll get him rolling. Or I got an offender shot. Oh boy. Okay, all right, 10-4.
it started as an attempted routine traffic stop. In the end, Elam was shot 3 times by Officer Adolfo Bolanos. Bolanos' partner, Officer Guillermo Gama,
Where's he shot at? The head, brother. What? Shot in the head, man. Okay. I think he shot right here, too.
there's a bullet lodged in his brain. Here's the autopsy report.
Yeah, he's still breathing.
The officer feverishly flipped the young man, picked apart his clothes, apparently looking for a gun. One was, police say, found on the other side of the car.
What's troubling about after the shooting is eventually the sergeant arrives and their captain.
Sergeant Gonzalo De Luna asks
Was your camera still? I turned it on as soon as I jumped out the car.
Officer Bolanos, who shot the young man 3 times in the back, never turned on his camera.
It doesn't mean a thing if the officers on the street aren't going to activate the body cams when they're supposed to.
It was just me and Bolanos.
And Captain Joseph Brennan,
The offender. Yes, I'm on. Okay.
on that day in 2018, Officer Hunt never turned on his body cam.
You say you trying to shoot?
I killed.
Why would you want somebody on your police force who goes around bragging about killing people? And it's just absurd.
CBS 2 investigators have asked about Officer Hunt since Mayor Lightfoot was candidate Lightfoot, since now 3 superintendents ago.
Officer Hunt.
So it would kind of be inappropriate for me to comment.
CBS 2 investigators exposed white CPD officer James A. Hunt.
I have serious questions for the superintendent why that officer wasn't stripped of his police powers.
There is an officer in your department named James Hunt.
That investigation is working its way to me, and I will make a decision.
He went back to L.A. She's now mayor, and he's now not the super. And Hunt is at work. Since the 2018 park incident, Copa's investigated Hunt another 11 times. 3 were sent to internal affairs, 3 were closed, 4 are pending. Only 1 so far was sustained, an improper search.
It's Hunt 11442.
No,
there
I
you
mean,
go.
You continue to get pulled over since then.
Yes, I say at least once a week.
You say you trying to shoot?
I killed.
It's lucky you were rolling on that.
Yeah,
And you just tried to hit me with the car?
Don't try to film me, dude.
it's about what you can prove and not what you know.
Officer Hunt and all other sworn members of CPD mentioned in this report remain full duty status, reporting for work, including Captain Joseph Brennan. Remember, at the scene where 17-year-old Michael Elam Jr. was shot fatally in the back by an officer, remember Captain Brennan's body camera order?
The offender. Yes, I'm on. Okay.
On Wednesday,
Joe Brennan.
a major promotion.
He now becomes commander of the 24th district.
Captain Brennan became Commander Brennan.
Commander Brennan, now in charge of the 24th District, that's Rogers Park. CPD refused to comment on the Michael Elam Jr. case and the new case against Officer Ortiz because they are pending lawsuits. COPA records show Officer Ortiz has 2 other pending cases. one that CPD says is in the superintendent's hands. And Officer Hunt is appealing both of his sustained cases.